Which brings us on to our guest for episode 14. Res1, how you doing, man?
I'm all good, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
All good.
Probably more importantly, thanks for hosting us. We're actually recording from your yard today, so...
84. The history is shit going down in his house.
Yeah, nice one, man. Nice one. So yeah, I mean, we rocked up. Originally, we were going to do this in the studio. I had a message from Rez yesterday, and he was like, "Oh yeah, do you mind if we do it in my gaff instead? Got a table, sent a photo. Is this suitable?" And I was just like, I mean, yeah, this is the setup we're used to, right? So we thought, fuck it.
We're comfortable with.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's nice and easy.
So
Yeah,
what's going on, man?
A lot. Like everything's kind of going on at the moment. I've got this whole green brick thing happening. I've got a baby on the way.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, like loads of stuff, like loads of new music, loads of like new artists that I want to like help push through, and like just all sorts, man.
Anyone in particular at the moment?
Well, obviously Lazy Eyes has just dropped his debut album Coastline to Cityscape, which you can grab on all the good streaming platforms, and obviously from our website too, and our Bandcamp. But Lazy Eyes is his debut LP, do you know what I mean? So, debut solo LP anyway. He's part of a group called Pupils of the Clock, which you should check out if you haven't already checked it out. And yeah, it's an amazing album. He's like a super talented kid who's just moved to Bristol from Cornwall, and yeah, he's just got like, he's on it. Do you know what I mean? I've seen him like body ciphers and stuff, and he's got a good live show.
And speaking of live shows, that's like the first time I was really exposed to you guys, like Split Profits, your crew. We were talking about it earlier, so it's the Gig in Motion.
KRS.
KRS-One, Immortal Technique,
Yeah.
Pete Rock,
Yeah.
Rag and Bone Man.
Like if you actually think about that lineup now,
I know, mate, it's fucking insane.
like that's actually a serious, like next level, like especially now, like where Rag and Bone's gone with the whole thing as well. Like to have that lineup in one building.
Yeah, mate.
Like
the funny thing is, like me and my mates rocked up like a little bit early because we made the drive from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And like I just walked into the venue, and like Immortal Technique was just kind of stood there, like twiddling his thumbs, obviously waiting for.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, I'm gonna get a photo with fucking Immortal Technique, you know. And he was like, you gotta wait, mate, you gotta wait. And then like 5 minutes later, I just waited and just walked up to him, and he was like, right, I'm ready now. But he's safe, man. He's good. He's a good guy.
I've got a funny story about that actually, like that actual night, like some serious shit that happened that night, yeah. And basically we got there, right, and the promoter was like, yeah, you can't sell your merchandise here.
Right.
What?
So we're like, hold on a second, like this is a hip hop gig, yeah. These people are supposed to be the guys who like are all about the art of hip hop and like supporting everyone around the world and the rest of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got told that Immortal Technique, this is what we got told by the promoter, Immortal Technique had turned around and said no local acts are allowed to sell merchandise, right? What? So obviously the next day, my DJ got onto Twitter and hit up Immortal Technique like, yo, what's the deal with this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this the case? You know what I'm saying? And shouts to Bad Habits, like holding down the corner. And Immortal Technique flipped out.
Really?
Like flipped out, man. Yeah, on Twitter, started kicking off and shit. And obviously at this time, we still thought that it was him who said it. So I got on Twitter and I'm like, yo, like, why are you going on like next day, like, because I've always been a fan of Immortal Technique, you know what I'm saying? And I felt really like, yeah, exactly. But yeah, wait, get to it. But yeah, like I obviously like felt burnt by it. I was like, why? I was like, I've always been a massive fan. He's like, I don't need fucking fans like you and all this. Like proper went in, and he started hitting up the promoter, Rhyme and Reason, asking for my address. Yeah, so I was saying to Rhyme and Reason, I was like, bro, just give him my address. If you want to come to my house, come to 84. Let's talk it out. Like, let's fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it turned out we got told like the next day by the promoter that it was actually KRS-One.
You're joking, man.
Nah. And I had to like, I wrote an email to...
Wasn't his daughter like selling t-shirts?
Yeah, that's why. This is why. And it was KRS-One, and they got the wires crossed and told us it was Immortal Technique. And the whole time, obviously, all this shit happened. And I wrote an email and I apologised. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, this is... I was hurt by it because I felt like you guys are so much about the art, and like we're not Yeah, I mean, just some fucking like little neaky white boys who are jumping on the culture or anything like that. We're fucking about it. So why the fuck are we not allowed to sell our stuff? But yeah, there was the whole night was crazy though. It was a fucking amazing night. Everyone's performance was mad, and like the whole night was crazy. But
I think you put on like a lot of like me and my mates who came up and like big up Adam Spong, who couldn't make it today. He's like a massive fan. After we left, we were just like, right, yeah, Split Profits, that's where it's at. Just the energy you guys brought, and it was kind of like relatable, like seeing you guys on the stage, just kind of like the way you are, just like the chemistry between you guys.
Yeah.
But Aiden's like been a massive fan for a long time, and in fact, like you were probably his kind of gateway into UK hip hop.
Yeah.
So I know he's desperate to pick your brains, man.
Put me in the spot there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, we were speaking about earlier how I came into hip hop through like the front end, if you like.
Yeah.
So I was very much into like rock, metal, that sort of thing, and punk, and then going into college and sort of had to find like a different sort of crowd, smoking a lot of weed, and that sort of like then brought me into like different types of music and genres, and then finding hip hop. It was very much like I was looking for. A lot of people sort of listen through to High Focus lot, and that sort of thing. Obviously, that's great music. But then I was looking into. I just wanted to know more about the genre. And the first sort of things I found was Split Profits. So started listening to them, and
to you rather.
and yeah, and then so you got into it more and more, and it was like the songs like Ain't Amused, Two Kids. And the Mo as well.
I
really enjoyed that song.
That's a big part of where we all come from. You know what I mean? Like I met Paro there. And that's like when we was like 11 years old.
So that's Dean Lane, is it?
In Dean Lane, yeah.
So what does the Mo refer to?
So Bedmo, isn't it? So like, I mean, some people call it Bemi, right? So there's this thing in South Bristol where some people like, nah, it's Bemi, some people call it Bedmo. We just call it the Mo or the Pain.
Got you, man.
Dean Lane, the Pain.
Because
you know what I mean?
You've got a track on the album called Mojo as well, and then the Mo, is that like
it's not connected.
Not connected.
No, that's not connected.
Okay, man. I wasn't sure because obviously I'm not from Bristol, so like that kind of, you know, unless you get this kind of insight.
Yeah.
But saying about the Mo.
Yeah. So the Mo is Dean Lane. Yeah. Dean Lane Skate Park, Dame Emily Park, if you're fucking being
pedantic. I like how the two kind of tracks are linked. So you've got like Ain't Amused, and then you've got the Mo, and you've got like the flashback snippets of that video. It's almost like this is where it started, this is the journey we've built.
Yeah.
And man, you come in so fucking hard in that track, the Mo, like that opening line, opening bars in that. That's kind of like, if I'm kind of putting anyone onto Split Profits, I'm like, yeah, listen to that track.
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Much love.
But so, it's good because just going back to what you were saying, man, about how it seemed like a very I don't know how to sort of put this into words, but very stripped back. Like, this is us.
Yeah.
Is that right to say? Like,
that is it. Well, I mean, I feel with the whole Split Profits movement, like, because we were friends, we were like pretty much all of us friends before the music. You know what I mean? Like, that kid we kind of met through music, or met through a mutual friend of mine, like, shouts to George Evans, like, and like a few people we met through skating and but we kind of all were like a crew beforehand. Do you know what I mean? So when the music started, it was like all of us were just all ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, none of us sound, I mean, just from my personal opinion, I don't know what you think, but like, I feel like none of us sound the same in Split Profits.
Exactly.
Like, none of us, like, I don't think anyone even sounds the same as any other rapper in the UK. We've kind of all, like, it's almost like everyone has their own style and their own way of going about shit.
Well, lyrically as well, you're quite right, it is, it's their own sort of way of telling stories. It's like reading different books, isn't it? Like, looking at different authors.
Yeah, and I mean, like, sometimes you get crews where people will have the same kind of content, and that's another thing. Like, sometimes you'll have an SP track, like on the new EP that's coming out, like real soon. The launch party is 13th of April at the Attic. But yeah, like, even on that, like, you'll have tracks where like the content's the same, but the way that people go around saying it is so different to the next person on the track. Do you know what I mean? It's
So like, you obviously come like from like skate culture. Is that your kind of window into hip hop music? Did it start? Because like, people have different ways in, right? Whether it being like graph, like
it actually
the music,
was,
yeah. So it was skating.
Skating was a big part of it, yeah, because like the guy who I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Document Skate Mag? It might be like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's quite a thick one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like there was Sidewalk and Document, and they were the two British skate mags. And the editor of Document is a guy called Percy Dean, and he was the stepdad of a friend of mine from primary school.
Okay.
And he was the first person to I had a skateboard, like a fishboard before or whatever, but he was the first person. He gave me, for Christmas I got like a setup, like a skateboard setup, and I got given 3 CDs, and I'll never forget like the 3 CD, it was 3 CDs, it was Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, J5, Concrete Schoolyard, or Quality Control. Is it Quality Control or Concrete?
Quality Control, Concrete Schoolyard.
It's on, that's it, yeah. And that was it. And Offspring. It was an Offspring CD, that was it.
Just like synonymous with the 90s and skate.
Yeah, fully but then obviously hip hop just like took me, and like, I mean, even when I first listened to like what I thought was UK hip hop, I was listening to grime.
Yeah.
So when I was at, if you remember LimeWire.
Yeah, of course, man. I don't know what you mean. I buy all my music.
But yeah, like LimeWire, like I'd search for like UK hip hop. And another mad story from LimeWire actually is like one of the reasons I actually rap is because of LimeWire. I typed in Bristol Hip Hop on LimeWire, and this is mad actually. Like I downloaded this song, and I can't. It wasn't even named correctly. It was like something else to what it actually ended up being, and it was this track by a group called Sayfire, who were like a big influence of mine, but like I didn't know it yet. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was out skating with my friend Liam and another friend Pickles. Like Pickles makes dub now and stuff. They were the reasons I rap. But I was just spitting these bars from this track that I downloaded off LimeWire. Yeah. And Liam turns around to me and he's like, "Bruv, how the fuck do you know my brother's bars?" And I was like, "What?" Like, and he was like, "No, that's my brother's group. Like this is Sayfire, this is this crew, like da da da." And I did not believe him. And then they were like, "Yeah, well, we write bars as well." Yeah. And then that was even like what got me into. So shouts to LimeWire.
So when did you first get into kind of like writing music yourself, and like when did you do it solo before you formed Split Profits? Obviously you went off to do your thing afterwards and released solo music, right? But was it kind of coming up and meeting like-minded people, or were you mates anyway?
It was like, so originally when I found out that those two rapped, like Pickles and Liam, so Tyen and what did Pickles go by? I can't remember. But yeah, when they like were like, yeah, I write bars and whatever, I was like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I want to write bars. Yeah. If these guys are doing it, then I want to do it. I've always been a fan of hip hop. It's like all the shit I listen to, I've got a lot to say. And then from like us three formed a group that then slowly everyone else in the skate crew, because we had like a little skate crew at the time, everyone else started spitting bars and writing and da-da-da. And that was when we were like 15. Yeah. But then Split Profits didn't happen until me and Up Front got introduced through the guy who came up with the name Split Profits. He introduced us to Bad Habits.
Right.
Oh, right, got ya.
And when we met Bad Habits had a place to record, he had beats, he was working with people like Genesis Elijah, with Craig Crusaders, and he was doing all sorts of stuff within the scene already with people that I kind of grew up on. And so that's when Split Profits happened. Nice. So that was when we were like 18.
That's great.
I'm going to say Split Profits is a great name.
Yeah,
it's a great name.
Yeah. When did that come? Shouts to Boyo, man. Boyo came up with that. He's a sick skater as well. He's a crazy skater. Yeah, check out Bristol and Bloom.
Bristol and Bloom.
Yeah, right, old school skate video.
Split Profits, man. Yeah, crazy, like double entendre. I like it. Is that kind of like represent almost like the ethics of you as a group? Like you share everything. You have kind of equal parts in it.
Yeah, I mean, like that was like the original thing, because as a crew, like we've always been. Like obviously now everyone grows up and people like go their own kind of ways and stuff, but we're all still family, do you know what I mean? Yeah. We have like fucking fallouts and whatever else, just like any other like normal people do, but we're like a fucking family. We're tight. And at first it was like that was the case, do you know what I'm saying? And it was like, yeah, we split all the profits, even if like say one person did 116 on a whole hour show. Everyone would get the same thing, but that's not what the name was about, and that's not why. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. We just took it literally. We were just like, fuck it, we're gang. Everyone gets the same. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But then after a while, that becomes a bit different, and it can make people bitter and feel like Do you know what I mean? So you've got to do things properly. At the beginning, you kind of learning these stuff, and then like after a while, you have to start figuring out that this shit is business as well.
Of course, man.
And what you put in, you should get out. But yeah, shout to Boyo came up with the name.
Yeah. So you kind of all it's with a sort of collective. This is what I love about hip hop collectives. It's always sort of you help prop each other up.
Yeah.
And you support each other, and you pick each other up, and you jump on each other's tracks. And it definitely helps you to sort of grow. So, would you say, you wouldn't be the artist you are today about Split Profits? Do you think you'd be into hip hop?
I'd still be into it, 100%, because like kind of as soon as I like penned my first bar or whatever, like I kind of was just like that was it. Whether it fucking took me time to even know what a bar was.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know what a 4/4 break. I didn't know shit. Do you know what I mean? Like I've kind of taught myself. And been taught by my peers and the people around me and the people I look up to and stuff, or inspired by it.
Yeah.
But I definitely still do it, but I wouldn't be the same artist. I don't think. It's like you can't say, can you, like that it's such a big part in, like not even just like my music, but like who I am now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's like because I suppose through writing, you're writing a lot about your experiences and you're telling your story, really, aren't you?
Yeah, a lot of the time. If it's not like wordplay, fitting in.
I guess it's a bit different in terms of like the mood of the track itself, right, and like the personalities you hop on it.
Yeah.
So like if you're writing something with like a similar theme, how does that writing process work? Do you typically all write together in the same room? Do you kind of like do it separately and then come together and say, this is what I've got? How does that process work?
It kind of depends, man. Like sometimes with Delta Bravo Kilo, we all went and jammed in the same studio to record it. And like we'd all be there at different times. Sometimes some of us would make it, sometimes some people wouldn't and stuff. But like most people now will all write on our own or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe like say we'll sit down in the studio and like write a load of stuff. Like for the new project, to be fair, some of it's been done together where we just sit in the studio and write.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 8 people.
That's it, man.
Do you know what I mean? Doing something with 8 people, it's never going to be a set out process. It's always going to be something that's like either this or that, or who can make it.
So what's going on from that then? So obviously being 8 of you, how do you decide like who features on a particular track? So is it just kind of like whose like bars are going to kind of fit it, or how does that typically work?
It's like say there's a Dropbox folder and like who's got the work ethic. A lot of it's down to that. A lot of it's down to like, look, Bad Habits has made 1,000 fucking beats. He's got all this stuff for people to jump on. Who's gonna jump on what? Like, and up front is a big driving force behind it right now. Like up front just got a crazy output. He's just like constantly putting out stuff and constantly writing.
And you said he was living abroad for a bit, didn't you? Working abroad. Yeah,
he went to Germany for I think it was like 2 months or something. I don't know. I think it's like he went for a while. And just stayed with this guy Beppo, who's a producer from over there.
Right.
And they made like 2 or 3 albums together.
Wow, man. That's prolific.
Yeah, he put stuff out. Like the thing is with Upfront is like I think because I mean I don't know, this is just my interpretation, but because his like social media presence was quite quiet for quite a long time. Like he's on it now. He's like always posting and stuff, but for quite a while he was quite quiet. In my opinion, and people will turn around to me, like people from the crew and shit, and they'll be like, "Yo, you fucking love yourself, like you're always on Instagram, but it's like it's part of it."
Yeah, of course, man.
And it does make a big difference. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think like now he's more on that shit, and he's got all this material. He's got a good year ahead of him. Do you know what I mean? He's got.
That's really interesting. Actually, say that about the comments from you love yourself, because aside from this, I do work in social media management. And so it's a love hate sort of thing with social media, but it does definitely help. And what are your thoughts surrounding social media and music? Because you have to have a presence essentially, or you've got to be like Doom and
exactly. And have this other like kind of profile of like, or this other like
cult following. It's like the elusive nature
exactly.
is what intrigues people.
But I mean, I don't know. I think you have to learn, like some people are narcissistic, and like that's like whether it's like a bad trait or a good trait if they take it too far or not or whatever, but like I had to kind of teach myself to be, like I never took a selfie, I grew up without a TV, I didn't have a computer till I was like 12, 13, like I wasn't really involved in like TV and stuff like that, and like to turn around and put a camera to your face and film yourself doing stuff, at first I found really fucking difficult.
The way I see it though,
like I had to teach myself almost.
Looking at your kind of like Insta stories and stuff, I almost look at it and like I might be just reading into it the wrong way. It's almost like satirical. It's like I've got to do this. I'm just having a bit of a laugh of it. It
basically is. Yeah, it's like all right. I'm just gonna literally just point the camera at fucking stupid shit. Be like, because essentially like I find it quite. I got like influence from like I don't know whether it was like Vines or whatever, where it's like them short, snappy. And that's where I come up with that Morning World shit, like, where it's just like, just film, film a bit.
Good opportunity to talk about some other videos that are on YouTube besides the hip hop. So, I see you're a bit of a mackerel lover.
Yeah.
Just had a bit of contact with that there, Jake.
So you've got, what was it, 4 episodes in?
Yeah.
What's it? The Love of the Mac or something?
Pack in the Mac.
Pack in the Mac. That's the one.
Pack in the Mac. That's it.
So it's basically you reviewing different tinned mackerels from, like Tesco or Aldi or wherever.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a passion of mine, you know.
When's that episode 5 coming out?
I mean, we've actually filmed episode 5. It's actually it's on my channel ready to go live. Yeah, but like me and Dom were doing it, This and That Media, and like the first one really got traction and people were really into it, and then the second one, I think the way I posted it, like the time of day and like just everything of how I went about promoting it, it didn't work the same way.
It needs to be with content going out. You've probably seen through social media and Instagram, it's got to be a key times and that sort of thing.
It's the key times, and then also it's like being consistent. Yeah. And if I'd have carried on from the first one and just carried on with the same like format, doing it with the same person, with this and that, doing it weekly or bi-weekly, it would have been. But you know what I mean? I love mackerel, and it's like basically it's a piss take. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not really like basically what I do is I go to a shop, like I love I get some mackerel, I get a drink, I roll a zoot, and then I fucking review the mackerel. There's mad flavours out there.
Yeah. So like mackerel, some packaging.
I know, bro, but that's the thing. Like, you've got to think about how you're gonna do it. Like, if you're real hungry and you've got 75p in your pocket, or like 34p if you want to go for the sardine route. Yeah?
Essential oils.
Sardines don't really cut it though. They got the spine down the middle.
Partial to a pilchard.
Partial to a pilchard.
Alliteration, man.
We've been calling it Machiavelli.
I'm Mackerelli.
Mackerelli, oh mate.
Mackerelli, mate.
Missed the trick there.
Yeah, because when they first told me about it, they were just like, "Oh, have you seen Rez's mackerel videos?" And I was just like thinking, like, have you like done some really deep research and just found some like hidden videos that are just like absolute gems? But I didn't realise there's actually videos of you sort of looking into it and actually properly reviewing it.
Yeah, high mackerel.
Yeah, I mean it had to be done, man. Like there's people doing chicken reviews and stuff out there, and there's people doing this and that with different foods, and you know what I mean. Like mackerel's like every man's food. Exactly. And that's the only problem I have nowadays, and the reason it's actually truthfully petered off, is my girlfriend's allergic to fish. My fiance, I should say, is allergic to fish. So, and everyone hates me. Like Bill in Informed used to live here and used to be like, bruv, like it makes me want to move out. Like, I hate waking up in the morning and you're just stood there just eating a tin of mackerel in my
You don't heat it up, you just eat it straight from the tin.
I just straight from the tin, fuck heating it up. To be fair though, Baxter is going to come on the next one. Jan Baxter's got a technique for heating up mackerel from the tin. So we're going to go a little deeper into that, but that's to come. Me and Baxter got some
That's for another podcast.
First.
That's for another podcast, man.
Yeah. Hot mackerel vibes.
So mate, going on for like the video thing, we talked about a little bit about this earlier. Obviously, like kind of going hand in hand with music these days, you have to almost have like visual content to go with it, just to keep kind of people interested in that. So I'm just interested to know what your kind of process is for recording videos. Do you kind of utilise like the creative scene here in Bristol, and is it like a favour for favour? Because there's some really like interesting concepts that you video. One of which is like Know Your Business, where it's a simple concept. You just you're skating around. You just like inflated your head and everyone else's heads. I think Lazy Eyes was in that video.
Dom should even come in and talk about this, man, because like that's I mean one of the best things is like working with This and That Media.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's the dude who's created the video and everything else.
We can get him on now. Do you think we can get him on now?
Dom, do you want to come and chat about some videos with us?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, don't feel put on the spot if you don't, but I think it could work. I think it could work.
Yeah,
We got.
You can show. You can have my mic. It's fine.
Yeah.
You sure?
I see it here, man.
I'm gonna take some photos while I'm.
Yeah, for real. We were just talking about some music videos, man. Like, I kicked off with the one like Know Your Business and the concept where just make the heads massive.
So this is I'll do the introduction. This is Don Q, and he is the director of This and That Media. And
welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, cheers. Well, yeah. So Know Your Business. What you said about it?
Just generally how like such a simple concept can be really effective when you're working with like I'm assuming like quite a limited budget. But how do you kind of utilise like the creative community within Bristol, or is that just all you?
No, I just think like when it comes to video ideas, you just got to try and think before logic in terms of that. So like I remember when we came up with that video, you asked if you wanted to do a video that day. And I said, do you want to have a bobblehead? And he was like, yeah.
It was literally as simple as that. It was like, look, I need to do a video. I've got like a small budget. Like, what can we do in a day? And Dom's just like, boom, let's do this.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to try out, man, because it was just something I wanted to do before. So it's been done before, really, but I haven't seen it for UK, I don't think, really, in the UK scene. So I just like, I wanted to learn the technique. So Rez needed a video man, so it was a good day. It was a choice day, man. Yeah.
Oh man, so what's like a typical kind of day of shooting when it comes to making these videos?
A typical day of shooting, you can have like either a loose storyboard, so you kind of know the scenes you want to cover, or it can just be like utilise some locations and just go from there, man. Like it really varies depending on the project, the artist, their intentions, and like sometimes it's like there's a lot of creative input with whatever artist, and then some other artists are just like completely give you what you want to let you do what you want to do and stuff.
I had the funniest conversation with Dyke about you the other night when you went to do the video, and he just rocked up with like laminated sheets, like laminated sheets of like what he had to do. Like that's what I'm saying. That's the levels. I like my storyboard. That's the levels of what it should be, though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like things started off like you were saying a minute ago about was it a favour for a favour and stuff like this. And when we first started, like shouts to George Nevin and Louis Gain and stuff, we had no budget. Do you know what I'm saying? We were starting off with nothing. We hadn't played shows, like before Ain't the Muse, we weren't playing shows. No one knew who the fuck we were. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a favour for a favour, and they were learning how to shoot a music video before. Do you know what I mean? Like we were all learning together. Like none of us had ever done this shit before. And then over the years, like the standards have just gone up like higher and higher and higher and higher, and you have to like watching, say, Dom, like go from fucking like the first videos that we were doing, like say when we went to New York together, like the simplicity to like, and it's not even, it's just techniques and like applying stuff.
International Traveller track? Yeah, is that?
No, that was Ollie Whitehouse. Dom filmed the Dutch Mob stuff.
Oh, okay,
in New York, but that was kind of when we first we did work together a bit before.
Yeah, maybe a video or two before. Yeah, New York was like the main round.
Yeah.
So we shot like 3 or 4 in the space of like how long were we there for?
10 days.
10 days.
10, 11 days.
Yeah.
It was serious, man. Like wake up, work, wake up, work, wake up, work. There's no like.
They're sometimes the best videos though. Like, do you ever?
That's the 2 of my favourite videos.
Yeah.
Straight up, like because just the whole way it was captured was just like, it was perfect.
It's almost like kind of like situational, like just kind of capitalising on an opportunity. Like you're in a certain location, you think, fuck it, we'll film a video today.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes like a location can be so good, you don't need to think that much further than that. You think, that location's hard, like just the way you capture it, angles, all that stuff, colouring, whatever. Even just the architecture, if it's just like brutalist architect, whatever, if it looks good, then that's all you need really sometimes.
But then going with a storyboard's even better, in my opinion. I think coming prepared, like that's like how all the levels are going up within the scene, within the videos, within the shows, within everything nowadays. Like the levels have got to go up, because otherwise we'll just stay stagnant and the scene won't like. Yeah,
no, I agree. That's really how I do like to work, man. I've had at least an idea of like a.
Just want to let her out.
Yeah. So we just had a visitor to the podcast. So
we've got the little pup trying to get outside.
Visitor.
Rez's dog Blue. So is Blue the inspiration behind the
dog?
Yeah, but that is Blue. That's Helen's painting of Blue. Yeah. Because I just wanted something to immortalise her.
So what's the wildest music video you've ever recorded?
So it really depends on what you mean by wild, man. Like, Talking about like the effect or like just the rowdiest of the fucking...
Yeah, let's go with that. The concept.
Concept.
The weirdest shit that you've ever filmed and thought to yourself, like, what am I doing?
I mean, the bobblehead's up there, just having a massive head. The way when we were filming it, because it was just, obviously you knew how it was going to look, but you had to like pretend you had a massive head while filming. So he's walking about the street like leaning back as if the head's like really like fucking up his balance. But he's just a dude who looks like he's waved and he can't quite like walk straight. And he's going past the people, but he plays with us. He like turns to people, like waves at them, and it's like, all right. So yeah, that's just a bit weird.
It must have been weird for people to look at from the outside, didn't it? Like, looking at me like stumbling down the street. Like.
I think that's it. But like, yeah, it just worked. Like, especially when there was 3 of you like walking down the bike path. It was you up front and Lazy Eyes, and like again, you're just doing all that thing, like trying to high five people walking past and stuff. Like.
You said you worked on a Dirty Dyke video recently as well.
Yeah, so for his album Acrylic Snail, I did the video for Caustic Soda.
Sick, man.
I filmed it over a year ago actually. There was about a year's difference between editing and release, the release date and stuff. But that was a fun one, man. I made him almost like break his neck like 3 times doing the video. I had to, because with the perspective, it's all about perspectives. A lot of it weren't actually visual effects. It was just like camera angles and all this stuff. If you can see the video stuff. And there's one bit where like he's just lying on a table just outside of the frame, but he's like holding his head up like that, and like he's using his neck muscle. And he's doing it for like the full song for like 3 minutes, and he's just like by the end of it like snapped his neck.
So is that quite frustrating between actually finishing a video and then waiting for the release, or?
Yeah, sometimes it could be a bit of a pain. Just like say with anything, if you do it enough, then you're gonna start progressing or whatever. And if a certain video comes out like ages, like way after a year, then suddenly it's not in like the right, you know, it doesn't like climb the ladder. It's like you've gone back a bit, so it seems a bit strange.
Your style would, am I right in saying your style grows with each sort of video?
Yeah, definitely.
So then you've got a video that kind of comes out, which you did ages ago, would it be different to what you're doing currently?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, like I'm always trying to learn new techniques and effects and just general styles of videos and
I'd say that with you, man, with every video. Like, pretty much with every video, like, it jumps up like a level. Whether it's like the technique or whatever, I don't know, like, but in the past, like, few videos, like 4 or 5 videos, it seems like each one has been like a new, sorry, am I not?
No, you're good.
A bit closer.
I mean,
each one has kind of jumped up a new level.
Yeah.
That's ideally how it would be.
That's how it should be, yeah.
That's how...
Like,
I don't know, like just like with the whole bobblehead thing, like sometimes it's just an idea which has been on my mind and I've seen it, like I want to be like, oh, how can I approach that? So sometimes that's like just how the videos come across, but the aim of the game is to try and keep it going up, and you know.
So we were chatting a minute ago about like the Dirty Dyke. Were you at the live show the other day with the camera? How was that? It was
nuts, man. Yeah. Like, and like props to Dyke and B-Side and everyone else who's involved in the whole tour, because like it's up the levels of what people should be doing. Like, I've always found it interesting with the UK scene where people, they don't put so much into like a live show. You know what I mean? You got MCs on the even down to like the decor and stuff of a night. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot that you can do to make a night really special, and like I'm glad that he's done that now with this Acrylic Snail tour, because he's like set the fucking precedent of like what you should do. Like, yeah, don't go and get a caravan. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't go and do exactly. Don't go and do that, obviously, but like bring something to it. Bring something to it. Like whether it's like you halfway through you do some sort of gimmick with the crowd and like get someone up to do this or that. Just do something that's not just like we're on stage here to rap, boom, drink some liquor and bye. You know what I mean?
I heard he wanted to cook snails on stage. Did you get to do that?
He didn't. I don't think he did that. I missed that. I mean, I kind of missed half of that night, but not the actual night. Just afterwards.
No, it was definitely good night. Man. Sold out, I think, as well. So
he sold out Jazz Cafe on a what is it, a Monday?
Or a Wednesday or something.
Or a Wednesday. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, props. You can't hate on that shit. It's amazing, and all it's doing is like obviously making it better for all of us, you know what I mean? Anyone who wants to hate on that kind of success is an idiot.
Of course, mate.
Because it's essentially it's just setting like what we should all be doing.
I've had a conversation with a lot of people. It's good to like success ultimately should be celebrated if it's achieved like with integrity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's always that kind of like keep it real aesthetic that UK hip hop has, but you tend to find that the artists that are...
What's keeping it real?
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Sorry to interrupt, but what is keeping it real?
What I'm getting at is, so you've got the keep it real aesthetic, which is typically like almost like boom bap aesthetics, which is kind of like we're doing our thing and we're not going to compromise our artistic integrity, and we're going to keep doing our thing, and even if we don't get where we need to be from like a financial perspective, it's cool because like our real fans are still going to like our music. If that makes sense. But you got certain people who kind of maybe, I don't know, they get, let's just use the word break loosely, and they have more like commercial success, and there's almost like compromising what they do just for kind of the masses and what they enjoy to hear. If that makes sense. So what are your thoughts on kind of like, I hate the kind of term like commercial and like, you know, underground, because I think there's room for everything, right? If something sounds good sonically, I'll listen to it. But do you think there's kind of, you know, in the UK hip hop scene at the moment versus say like grime, for example, which is doing a lot better commercially? Do you think there's a reason for that?
I think the reason for that in the UK is that grime it was born in the UK. It's a UK sound, like it's its own thing here. It's been exported. You know what I'm saying? So this is the place where it's going to be popping. With hip hop came from America and we adopted it. Do you know what I mean? So there's that. Also with the commercial thing, as far as like people like so and so sold out or something, we were talking about a minute ago. Say with J. Cole. I know this is American, but you get the same heads in the UK, like who will drop something on a beat that might sound commercial. It might have a commercial sounding hook, or it might be structured slightly more commercially than a normal 16 8-bar, 16 8-bar breakdown, 8-bar finish. You know what I'm saying? It and those tracks. If a lot of the MCs that are on those tracks nowadays, whether it's in the US or it's in the UK, they don't lose their lyrical integrity. They keep their integrity. They'll still write a dope verse. It will just be on a slightly commercial beat. And if that's the case, then if you like sacrifice your lyrical like skill and you just want to just make something shit, then cool. But I don't see that. I don't really see that happening now. I see the people that are doing slightly more commercial stuff. They don't lose. But the bar's still dope most of the time.
And also, I mean,
the beat just might not be.
If you think about like the commercial stuff in the States from like the 90s, I mean like Nas like was a commercial rapper, like Biggie was like a commercial rapper.
They were, I know, so it's changed,
it's mad how things have...
But then that could come round again, do you know what I mean, with the first like little renaissance of fucking, of like the UK scene in like 2011. You know what I mean? 2012, when it kind of started picking up again and everyone was getting crazy bookings and there was all these festivals like Boom Bap and that. And like that, everything has its cycles. So like the next time this cycle comes round for UK hip hop, the people that have already established themselves or that have like cemented their place within the scene, they're going to be at the forefront of like the whole thing again. When it comes commercially, because I mean it's spreading commercially now, even with like people who are like like record execs or like TV hosts and all these other people. They grew up now. A lot of them are our generation because they were this. Do you know what I'm saying? And they grew up on hip hop.
One Extra and stuff like that.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So like they kind of know, they have the same feeling as all of us lot do about like where the music's going and stuff. So I think it's going to come back around again.
Wait for.
But
Sorry, we want to throw Jake back into the mix, but Dom, thanks so much. Big up, mate. Thank you so much, mate. And
good, man.
Your videos are sick. So
go check out thisandthatmedia.co.uk.
Appreciate it, mate.
Enjoy.
Same handle on Instagram,
Instagram is just this and that media.
Same thing.
Cool,
get on there.
Awesome, man. And we were chatting a bit earlier about. Take care, man. Thank you.
Big ups.
We were chatting a bit earlier about obviously you travel a lot and you tour a lot with Split Profits. And you're really open to overseas artists doing their thing and accents and voices and all that kind of stuff, breaking down barriers. Do you want to talk a bit more about like the scenes in the places you've been to perform?
Yeah, man. Like Europe's like the stronghold for me. You know what I mean? Like we've played a lot of shows in Europe as Split Profits, but I've also played a lot of shows in Europe as Res One or with Two Tongues and stuff like that. So. And each time, even when we went to Split Profits, I'd like build a relationship with either the promoter or like the artist who I just vibed with, or who was, you know what I mean? Like the other people there, I'd always try and make connections. So like say in Germany, in Munich, there's like Leo Lex, Samadi, who moved to Berlin, Denny, the whole ATP crew, Reload, DJ, like I mean there's loads of people, but I've kind of built a good friendship with all these people. Do you know what I mean? A lot of them I've built like more than just a musical thing. It's like Leo's come and stayed here with Samadi, like I go and stay at Leo's house with like his wife and his kid and stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we've built like a really good relationship. Same with Montpellier as well. We've got like I've got really close friends there, do you know what I'm saying? Like La Craps, he's like one of the biggest artists in France right now. Yeah, I mean he's massive as well. Like he's huge. Like and me and him we just vibe, man. Like we'll just go there. He'll like take the piss out of my hat. I'll take the piss out of him. Like, we just like vibe. Like the last time I was there, I recorded a track. I hadn't slept all night. I'd done a show. Like I turned up at the studio. I was half falling asleep. Like he's just there, like taking the piss. I just like getting. You know what I mean? But we're family.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're proper family. Like.
You put out that document ages a long time ago. Wasn't there a documentary, that tour documentary?
Yeah, the Blaine's Bro.
Yeah. So tell us about that tour, man. Because that looked like it looked mad.
It was nuts, man, and like we had a whole another one that we didn't release. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, bruv. Like we had so much footage, man, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was just too much. Everyone was just raggo back then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everyone was on some raggo shit. Like completely. I don't know. So a lot of the footage just wasn't usable. You know what I mean?
And so just go talk us through some of the stuff that, for people that haven't seen the video, what was some of the stuff that happened on that tour?
I mean, it's hard to say because like a lot of it kind of blurred.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether it's this tour. What kind of stuff went down on that tour? I mean, I remember we went to Switzerland. So like Switzerland was one of the, like the dash dock in Bern. Bern's the capital, and it's a crazy city. This place, the Dash Dock, is one of the best venues I've ever played. It's fucking amazing. But yeah, it's just also. I mean, I can't even go into it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like on their own little whirlwind of like madness.
Just riding that sort of wave.
Yeah. Like I mean, I think that one was the time when we got there. We like landed in. I think we landed in Zurich or some shit, and we got to the van, and there was like 2 minibuses. They just opened up the sides of the minibus, and it was just like people just getting past joints, like all these pre-rolled joints and shit. And there was like 2 crates of beer, and like before we got on the plane, because everyone in Split Profits is a massive alcoholic, or at least was on some serious drinking shit. And like before we got on the plane, everyone got a litre. So everyone had a litre from duty free of like gin or vodka or brandy or whatever rum. And like by the time we even got to the airport, we fucked. And then we got in the cars, and then it was like, I can't even remember. Like apparently me and up front had some massive argument and shit. Yeah, the fuck those, man. That might have even been the second one. Blaine's Bro might have even been the first one, and that I'm talking about the second one.
Yeah, because I think for me, especially like I was saying earlier, how I got into the Split Profits was the first sort of hip hop that I listened to. It also took me on to French hip hop.
Yeah.
And that was a song that I did really like, and it took me, I listened to it ages ago, and then it took me ages to fucking find it again. It was M2C, featuring Split Profits and Incorruptibles.
Incorruptibles, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy video shoot.
Yeah. So what was that like?
That was just mad. Like, I mean, shouts to M2C. They're like Tequila and Lost, like Tech and Lost, and the shouts to the DJs as well. I know your names. Just hi. But the whole crew, like that's like part of the same kind of like family as like La Craps and all these other people. But that video shoot, we like, if for the people that don't know out there, like go check it out. But we're all dressed in like 1930s, 1940s attire.
Yeah.
We got shotguns and like nice cars, and it's all a bit like fucking mobster. Shotgun The Aux, yeah. But we went to the beach in Montpellier.
Right.
Broad daylight with like these fucking working shotguns, and we're just stood on the beach with someone digging a hole, like literally digging a grave, because that's what we were actually doing, digging a grave for the video. It was nuts, man.
That's medicine.
Can you speak French?
Nah, like my mum basically, like, my mum's got a crazy story, but she's like basically part French, so she speaks fluent French. They live in France. My pops lives in France, and she used to speak to me in French when I was a kid, and for whatever reason she stopped. Fuck knows what. But yeah, I used to be able to. I used to be able to speak and understand like a lot of French, and then when I go to France now, after say a week, I'll be like, I can understand a lot, but I can't speak it back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I can understand most of what's going on. I'll be sat in a room, everyone else is French. Like Two Tongues, he speaks English and French. He's like used to be part of Split Profits and stuff, and good connection, family connection. But he'll kind of do the translation for me. So the last time I was there, I was like, look, don't translate. Just don't translate anything, and I'm just going to try and figure it all out.
There's something about the flow with French artists, like even though I don't understand the language, but it's just so like good to listen to.
Yeah.
The way they ride a beat.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it works with the language. You know what I mean? The way they speak, it's all in the front of your mouth, like.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen that film La Haine with?
It's my favourite film.
Same, man. Same, yeah.
Literally, hey Vince, et la vache. La vache.
Cow, yeah. Yeah, it's such a sick film, man. And Vince Cassell's brother's obviously like Rocky Squat from Assassin. He's like a French hip hop artist.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man. He's done a track with Immortal Technique.
Is it?
Yeah. So you go to like.
What? Vincent Cassell's.
Vince Cassell's brother is he was in a crew called Assassin from the kind of like late '80s, mid to mid '90s. Well, they're still going.
Yeah.
He's called Rockin' Squat. Yeah. So on his Instagram, he's always like with Vince Cassell.
Yeah.
So that's
what hip hop do you know from France then? Do you know about like obviously NTM and I Am?
NTM.
You know NTM, yeah?
Yeah, I've listened to that.
Yeah.
Who are the artists who are on that Foreign Beggars track? You know, Hit That Gash.
So, was it Science Super Crew?
I can't remember, man.
Science Super Crew have one of like honestly two of the best albums out ever in my opinion. Like, and I can't understand fuck all of it, yeah. But KLR, like Cyan, SAIAN, I think, SUPA Crew.
Have you ever listened to The World According to RZA?
Nah, I don't know.
So
it's got Cyan Super Crew on it.
Yeah, with like Ghostface and that.
Yeah.
You got Skinny Man on it as well. He just basically goes around the world and.
He goes around Europe and just records.
Yeah, Cyan, SAIAN. Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, like the collabs on KLR and X Raisons, like X Raisins or whatever.
Yeah. Like.
Roots Maneuver's got tracks on there.
Really?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's two of the best albums. Like
that's the track. It's Foreign Beggars with the artist is there. It's on the artwork, but it's not on the actual track. Their verses on that track are it's ridiculous. I have to send that across to you, man.
Check out La Craps as well. Honestly,
Craps?
Yeah, like for real. Like, have you seen the track I did with him?
No, I haven't, man.
The Craps?
No. Actually, I may have done. Is it? How recent is it?
It's like a year ago.
You got a video for it, haven't you?
Yeah, the video was like I said, I recorded it, and then we went to shoot the video, and I hadn't had any sleep, and it was all a bit rushed. You know what I'm saying? The video is not like.
I think I've seen this. But
I mean, just check out the Craps anyway. Like he's like the whole of M2C and the Craps and the Classique.
Yeah.
And Demi Pourchon as well. Like for people who are interested in French hip hop, check out Demi Pourchon.
100%.
So how did you come to work with French rappers, French artists?
I mean, it all kind of happened through Two Tongues. So right. Two Tongues was like a connect through. I met him through an old school Bristol head that some people might know, Noodles. Yeah, whatever beef you got with him, I'm not associated with my man. Yeah, whatever.
For legal reasons.
None of us are right now. Yeah, like come on, fuck you know. But yeah, he introduced me to Two Tongues because they grew up together, whatever. And Two Tongues, English kid, moved to Montpellier when he was 10 or younger or something like that, and he lived there and came back and forth and stuff. Right. But then I basically hit him up like I do with a lot of artists. I just hit them up, see if they want to build, do you know what I mean? And then we ended up doing loads of tracks together and stuff, and he was getting us loads of shows. And me just being me and thinking that it was the best thing for everyone at the time, I was like, yo, we should get him to be part of Split Profits. So I kind of pushed for him to be part of the crew. and I didn't really think about the whole implications of what that would mean down the line and stuff, and about how people work together and all this other shit. I just thought everyone was going to get along and it's all going to be good.
Yeah.
But he ended up not being a part of Split Profits, but obviously we did a load of shows through him and off the back of him.
So he's like an affiliate.
He is.
Kind of like a Capadonna or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's like, to me, he's family. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, obviously, I don't speak for everyone else.
Of course, man. Of course.
So, but I still go and play shows with him and DJ Charlie Cut and some other French dudes.
So I guess that's a good segue to talk about your solo stuff. Obviously, starting off the Split Profits and still doing that in the meantime.
Oh shit.
That's all good, man.
Sorry, it's coming. I silenced my phone, but it's coming through my.
That's cool.
Can I just quickly tell him to?
Yeah,
of course,
cool.
man. Yo. Oh, fuck's sake, didn't even get it. Alright. Yeah, so
obviously like doing your Split Profits thing, and then you did like Delph Efficiency, that see the artwork up there.
Delph Efficacy. Everyone.
Corrected.
Everyone, I swear to God, like even fucking Smellington Piff at the show, at the launch party for Delph Efficacy was like, yeah, shouts to my boy Rez and Delph Efficiency. Delph Efficacy, yeah.
I just can't read, evidently, but
No, I mean, shouts to Physics. Physics did the hand style on that, and I purposefully asked him to do it like on his mad style.
I really like that artwork, by the way. I said it earlier. I think it's sick.
But also, man, like I think it's good to have these kind of these interviews and have a podcast we can have a chat about it, because otherwise I wouldn't have heard it. Let's say that word phonetically, I wouldn't have heard you correctly.
Shotgun The Aux, teaching the nation.
Exactly.
It's knowledge right now.
So now I know.
You've been telling everyone it's Delph Efficiency.
Oh yeah, I'm making my business too. By the way, we had this amazing album. Get the name right, mate. But yeah, that's got some obviously like Bristol bullshit and like building up, and that's one of my favourite tracks, because that almost kind of paints a picture about who you are.
Yeah.
So I was about the whole building thing earlier. But going on to A Dog's Dreams that came out last year, what was the process behind that? How long did it take?
So basically, it kind of originally started as an EP when Ill Informed was living here, and we were like, yeah, let's just make an EP, and then it was just like, fuck it, let's just make an album, basically. But with Ill Informed, he's like, in my opinion, hands down, one of the best producers of all time. Like, he's just got
massive
just the ear for it, do you know what I mean? He's just got the ear for it. He's like, that's all he does. Like, his life is making beats.
He is a name that is sort of, no matter what sort of UK hip hop record you look through,
it
always
stands out.
He's always got one beat on it or something. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's literally just done a thing with Paro from Split Profit, and he's doing a thing with Dat Kid.
They're EPs, right?
I don't know if he's doing it. Yeah, I think so. EPs. And he's also making a project with another artist called Crossbow T, which we're going to release on Green Brick.
Right.
So it runs deep with Ill Informed, and like with the album, there wasn't really like a creative process of like, oh right, we're going to try and make this sounding album. I was just kind of writing stuff that was like just honest to me at the time. And
so I posted on our Instagram story yesterday that track "Living on a Snare," and I think like the first listens of your album, a couple of like standout tracks for me, like "Full of Love" and like "Funky Bags," and really cool stuff instrumentally. But that was a grower, "Living on a Snare." Like lyrically, I was kind of like, was that like a personal story for you, or is that just like storytelling?
It's basically, if like I kind of try and leave like Easter eggs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I like doing things like that where shit's got continuity, and I kind of like build up stories and make things like last longer and more interesting. Even if it's for me, some of my shit just goes straight over people's heads, and 95% of people ain't gonna know that comes from my album with Dat Kid. So on my album with Dat Kid, Drugs, Booze and Dental Issues, we've got a whole story track. I don't know if you heard the track.
I heard the album, so I must have heard it.
So the guy in that track is the guy in this track, and it leads on, and the story leads on to this story down the line.
So is it like a fictional character based on like amalgamation of people you know?
Yeah, totally. It's like a I know these situations. I know, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I write, like a lot of my stuff is very like based on me or like what I've personally experienced. But some of it's like you say, an amalgamation of different characters I know, or like stories that I know from my friends and things like that, and it kind of gets pieced together. But that's not really, it's not directly influenced from anything.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favourite tracks is I mean, Funky Bag, which we'll go on to in it shortly, but that People You Know track. I mean, that's just...
It's relatable.
Yeah, it's...
Anywhere you live, it's relatable, man.
Exactly.
Because you are just kind of like all these different sort of characters, and like you say, man, anywhere you live, you've got that sort of mental picture. Remember, you don't even have to know them firsthand, but it's that person you always see hanging outside the corner shop or whatever. That person you've always... You know, the guy that's like blatantly a dealer, but whatever. There's always that person.
Yeah.
And that was I really enjoyed that track.
And then you create your own story about them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's basically what that was. It's
that's
like
what people do in
almost
real life,
seeing people and just being like, I like people watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just sit in the park, it's like, me and Helen were saying about dogs as well, you can dog watch. You can be like, that dog looks like Sue, she works at Matalan. Do you know what I mean? She's got 2 kids, but she doesn't live with her husband anymore. Like, she lives in Portugal because she's a business financer for this. You know what I mean?
I suppose,
like, you can just make up your own shit. Like.
But see, anyone could do that living it, like, not everyone could do that, but everyone's got that sort of relatable character. But do you think living in Bristol and also where you live now, and obviously you're quite close to Stokes Croft, which is a very sort of there's a lot of memorable characters there. Do you think like obviously the location of where you are and that helps a lot with what you're writing?
I think with Bedminster, like a lot of the stuff that I write about is based on a lot of stuff that I saw in Bedminster as a kid. Like, I'll never fucking come across and be like, I was born in the ghetto, like anything like that. Not at all. I was just born in Bedminster in the fucking 90s. You know.
So going on from A Dog's Dream, obviously like setting up your own label, Green Brick, I'm interested to know a bit more about like the logistics of setting it up, like how did that come about, and just tell us more, man.
Well, originally we wanted to kind of set up, like me and Bad Habits kind of always had this idea of doing it with split profits. So we kind of wanted, I mean, Split Profits is its own label, do you know what I mean? There's 8 artists. The money that we built up is then that fund for the 8 artists on the label. So it's kind of, it runs itself, you know what I mean? Like when I do this release with Bad Habits and Upfront, that's going to be put through Split Profits. It won't be put through Green Brick. But with Green Brick, me and Bad Habits just kind of wanted to set up something where we can just be building something that's like carries us into the future. Do you know what I mean? Because there's like, your music can go so far, and I'm going to be performing, hopefully, you know what I mean, touch wood, until I'm like too old to fucking go on the stage and they've got to wheel me out. But at the same time, when I'm not creating music, I want to be part of a business or part of a platform that is helping other people put out their music and create music and join artists together and make connections, and like basically it's not just a hip hop label either. Do you know what I'm saying? So basically it's just about putting out music that I feel is, or what me and Bad Habits feel is really dope, and creating something that's A, a platform, and B, something that can grow into like a household name, A, for Bristol, hopefully for the UK and the world in the future. You know what I mean? I want it to be a strong label that's that represents good music.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't just have to be hip hop or necessarily music influenced by hip hop or anything. You know what I mean? Like Mac Lloyd he makes melancholic soul. It doesn't sound anything like anything I've ever made. Do you know what I mean? Or in Crossbow T, he's on some crazy like road hip hop gully shit. So it's going to be a whole different range of artists and of music and of sounds, and like yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. Like so far we've had my release, A Dog's Dreams with It Informed, and then we had Lazy Eyes release, Coastline to Cityscape, and that's 2 quite boom bap-ish hip hop projects. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I come from, so it makes sense to start on that.
People recognise it, don't they? They're like, oh, of course he's going to release an album like that.
Yeah, if I was to suddenly come out of a new record label with a whole different sound and release this crazy album,
like a country record or something.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You know, what the fuck is this, bruv? Like,
that's the Cuban music, isn't it?
Mate, if you can link me up with some producers from Cuba, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm up for singing and shit. Like, oh my god.
Have you thought about I don't know how you go about this, but incorporating Cuban music into new music?
I'd love to be able to produce. So that's something that, like, with time and with hopefully with the baby and stuff coming, I might have. Everyone's like, "No, your life's over, bro." But I'm seeing it as like, okay, cool. I've got to wake up at 3 in the morning and feed the baby. If I wake up at 3 in the morning and feed the baby, after I fed the baby, you know what I mean? I can just slink into the studio, start practicing, producing and shit like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'd love to be able to incorporate it, and I'd love to be able to sit down in a studio with a producer who's open to just produce. Do you know what I mean? Who's open to just be like, all right, cool, let's kind of make this sound or let's make that sound that's not too boxed into, like, say, hip hop or grime. I'd love to sit down with someone who just makes Mac Lloyd, basically. I feel like in the future, in the near future, me and him, we've got an EP together that doesn't sound like anything I've ever made before. It's very different.
That's good, man.
It's like I've changed up a bit. It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm still me, I'm still doing the same music and stuff, but obviously you explore, you go try different sounds out and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But I think, you know, you mentioned you want to do a bit of singing as well. Like even on For the Love, it's almost kind of semi-sing on the hook to that the bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty dope. That's not something I've heard before.
I mean, it's something that, like, I think time permits. Do you know what I mean? I think if you have time to be able to get creative and get in a studio and, like, try out new, like, ways of going about stuff, try out your voice, like, stay there for a fucking whole day and just try out one hook. Like, the different ways you could, like, bring a melody into a hook and stuff. Like, I'd love to be able to have the time to, like, grow as an artist like that. And I think in time that will come. And I'd love to be able to, do you know what I mean, sing on records and stuff.
The word you mentioned then, like melody, that's like something, have a new dimension to a track, right?
Yeah.
You listen to a lot of, like, you know, there's a lot of rap music out there, and sometimes, like, someone who's particularly good at this, and this is, like, completely out of left field, you know, like Tech 9, for example. And he sometimes kind of adds a bit of that to his tracks and stuff, and you're like, I remember that because it was a bit different, and it stood out a bit. So experimenting is always fun, right? It must be kind of something that you want to do.
Well, I feel like if you're an artist and you're not experimenting and you, like, stick on the one style that you're, like, you think you're comfortable with and that's you, like, that's cool, but it's only going to last for so long. You know what I mean? Like, for me, like, I feel like with Split Profits and with myself, like, we kind of got thrown in the deep end. So it was like everything from Ain't Amused is like a bit the stepping stone up. So every time I put out a record, in my opinion, it's better than the last. You know what I mean? Or it might not be better than the last, but it's like I'm constantly trying to improve. So, like, if I can do stuff like sing on a record or do a different BPM or a different style, like, I'm not going to not do that. You know what I mean? And anyone kind of gets stuck on their genre or their little box. I don't know. People, like, especially with UK hip hop as well, this happens a lot. Is you get people that are, like, so core, and hip hop as well, boom bap, man. No, they're not making boom bap, like.
Yeah, man. That's kind of my point I was making earlier. I probably didn't articulate it in the right way.
Do
you know what I'm saying? I like it when people try different stuff. And, you know.
But then there's no saying, like, the people that do just make boom bap. Yes, Blue. Does she want to go out? No. Blue, come here.
Blue is the dog.
Yeah, just for the listeners out there, this is my dog, and she's
the inspiration behind
yeah, check out the cover of the new project.
But yeah, Rez, as you're saying, I think you've spoken about it before. How so you've got the difference between sort of grime and UK hip hop, completely different. So you can't really compare them, but you can compare the sort of a few things. So there's that ownership over grime, and there's that sort of experimental sort of style, bringing it to the next level. Like grime's how it was when it was really created, doesn't really sound anything like how it is now.
No.
Do you think that there is a case, not bad mouth hip hop is essentially very much being back, but do you think there is a lot of where it's not as experimental as it sometimes should be?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the case because people are kind of scared to experiment, but also at the same time, you have that where people are scared to experiment. But you also have, sorry, my dog is killing me right now. The listeners, she's just melting my heart. Blue, fuck off. She does want to go out. Do you want to pop the door for her 1 sec? Sorry. But with UK hip hop,
do the left door, man.
You have
She'd have to meet the camera.
Can you do the left door?
Yeah. They'll both open. Open the right first. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, good.
But also, I do feel like there's this stigma about people having to move on from boom bap. So people are like, oh, you should be doing something new. You should be making this other sound or being experimental. But you shouldn't. Like, if you don't feel that, like say Brothers of the Stone, yeah, there's nothing like quote marks experimental about that. It's fucking straight up boom bap hip hop, but it's the illest shit.
Yeah.
Like say people get twisted. Like what is classical music, yeah, or jazz or something, yeah? Did jazz have to suddenly evolve into this other thing, or is it just always going to be classed as jazz? Like hip hop's a music, like especially like boom bap hip hop. Why should it have to change? Like people don't have to change it. I think it can evolve and maybe generate new genres, or like the influences can build new things and stuff. But I feel like there's definitely room for change, but there's also room for
people who just
that
love
genre.
rap music, man.
Yeah, that just love rap music. Like you don't have to fucking change it up. You can make a boom bap album and then make an album. Music's blurred now.
Yeah.
Like you'll get a track where it's like it's got a dubstep breakdown, then it's got some singing, it's got a little bit poppy bit, and then it's got some grimy verse off someone.
Yeah.
And it's
And then some days I just want to listen to like Sean Price, man, because it's just
yeah. Do you know what I mean?
because
It's
he
like
does what he does.
yeah, we shouldn't be boxed in. A as artists and B as listeners.
Yeah, man.
Like as listeners, you shouldn't be boxed into one thing. As an artist, you shouldn't be boxed to one thing. You should be able to do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Wise words, man.
Just an example. Obviously, this is one sort of single example. Who I can think of is sort of Jam Bax's latest stuff.
Yeah.
Each album is very much sort of I don't know, experimental, or just like pushing it out with different sound, different samples.
Going electronic and stuff.
Trap beats as well, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like that to me, A, it's like it's dope music. B, it's good for a show and good for like live performance. It's always going to go down in a rave or whatever. And C, like do what you want to do.
Yeah, man. I think that's ultimately it, isn't it? It's like
as fans, we should never box artists in as like I used to do it as a kid, but I feel like it's changing now.
It's like toxic fandom, innit? It's like almost like I own the rights to this artist and I can take what they need to do. It's like fuck off, like
fully. And people are like that. They really are like that.
But it's like in any kind of like medium though. It's like same with like films, and it's same with any kind of art. People are like the first to kind of comment on shit, saying, "Oh, they should have done it this way." It's like, well, it's subjective, right? They do it how they're going to do it anyway, and then either way, someone is going to like it.
Yeah.
No, not everyone's going to like your shit. Do you know what I mean? That's
and that's a good thing.
That's reality, exactly, man.
Like
you're pretty fucking boring otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're someone like Buena Vista Social Club, anyone who doesn't like that shit, then just get out.
Big up.
I suppose you need to piss a few people off, don't you? Really?
Yeah, you have to, man. Like when you get hate, it's almost like this is good. I'm doing something right. Yeah. Because if people take their time out of their day to get mad at you. For fucking artwork, like or art, essentially that's what it is. It's like
speaking of art, man, I don't know, I've seen this logo like peddling around. You're wearing it on your hoodie, and it's like
the mirror.
Fatty Lou, what is it?
So Fatty Lou is basically me and my fiance Helen Hale. Check out helenhaleart.com. Well, actually, it might direct you to Fatty Lou now, but when we got together, obviously I was doing the music, she was doing the artwork, and we just obviously gelled. But we decided to set something up that was like basically a platform initially for us, and then obviously to bring other people on, hopefully, so we could create like an emporium of like artists and musicians and like whatever creative people, and have a platform to sell it on, so i.e. our website. And we make good clothing, we sell our wax, we sell Split Profits wax, we sell High Focus wax. We're looking to start stocking everyone in the scene and get like a really good selection of music. And yeah, we're just building up a clothing brand that's like for people like ourselves, you know what I mean? We'd never make something that we wouldn't wear.
Well, ourselves,
and we wouldn't make something that we wouldn't price it to a price that we don't feel is right for ourselves.
Hopefully one day we get some Shotgun The Aux merch. Maybe you could...
Yeah, well, I'll put you in the right direction.
Shameless plug there, mate.
I keep saying I'm going to do it.
You've got to do it, man. Someone's got to do it.
It's a green Green Brick is a label.
Yeah.
And then Fatty Lou is just something that's separate. Is that
separate, totally separate. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're connected because obviously they're both my brands, but with other people.
Yeah.
People I share it with. But yeah, they're totally separate. But I mean, we do like it's everything's kind of tied together. You know what I mean? Like Split Profits, Green Brick, like Fatty Lou, all these different brands and stuff. It's all kind of tied together. But yeah, they're all their separate entities and nothing to do with each other at the same time.
Sick, man.
So that's just put that in as well. So that's the Fatty Lou on Instagram. TheFattyLou.
Yeah, that's right. And then www.fattylou.co.uk. Check out the website too.
I love that. Make it a fatty.
Make it a fatty, man. You know it's about that.
So whilst we're on that, man, before we wrap up, is there anyone you want to plug, big up, call out?
Yeah, call out everyone. Fuck you all. Nah, pretty much the opposite of that. Like, I'd just like to thank everyone if they do watch this or don't watch this, whether they're fans or artists, for either watching or inspiring, and just bringing to the culture. I'd like to thank you guys, obviously, for getting me involved, and everyone who's pushing for Green Brick. Like, shouts to Springer, shouts to Crossbow T, shouts to Mac Lloyd, shouts to Bad Habits, shouts to Helen, obviously, and the whole of Split Profits crew. Yeah, like there's a lot of good artists in Bristol as well. You should look out for coming out right now. Wishmaster from OR Recordings. Like, obviously Leaf Dog and Dat Kid have got this album coming out. King Aggie, shouts to Aggie every time. RE, the label, MTG, Bugsy. Shouts to Skits as well. I'd like to give big love to Skits and Joe Byrne as well. Joe Byrne, look out for Joe Byrne on Green Brick as well.
Cool.
Joe Byrne is coming to Green Brick with some madness.
Nice, man.
And Skits for always supporting and being one of the godfathers, you know what I mean? He's always had our back. Rodney P's always had our back, you know what I mean? Chester, everyone who paved the way, man. You know what I mean? Everyone who fucking gave us this position to be able to like come in when we came in. And
nice, man. Appreciate you joining today, man.
Yeah,
jumping on the podcast, and
Yeah,
obviously for hosting us here today, man.
all good. It's always good.
Next level, man. So we'll wrap up there, and we're going to play out with another track from A Dog's Dreams, Know Your Business. But you can find us at, Aiden, come on, where can you find us?
Shotgun The Aux, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we're everywhere, man. Spotify, iTunes, and Acast as well. We'll post on the links for Fatty Lou and also the label as well.
Yeah.
Green Brick, and that will be in the footnotes of the podcast. But yeah, cheers for listening.
Thanks everyone. If you can leave a review, that always helps. But yeah, big up Rez. Thanks guys. That's a wrap.
Cheers everyone.
Much love. Peace.